some people can come in. Tonksy will be with us in 10 minutes. Damn, why's my thing not straight? Is that straight, guys? Cowbunga. I feel like I'm... Yeah. Hey, D, how are ya? So how is everyone? Can you all hear me? I've got a lot of wind here at the moment, but I turned my Wi-Fi off because my Wi-Fi cuts out on it. I don't know, but yeah. So Tonksy's had me on his page before. I've got all his links in my description. I think a few people in here will already watch him, to be honest. I just need to get a Does that text to work? It's good to have a pen sometimes when someone's talking and you can't cut them off. There we go. Winners, winners. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Versace. Yeah, so what's everyone up to? I've got a few minutes. Does my that's better, eh? Nikki, how are you? Hey, hey. Oh, you got the crown. I don't know what this crown is now, but there's like a new crown thing, new crown system. Booty, my dog kept sneaking in and out. It's so windy here, and the wind's like ice. Lay down. Lay down. He's trapped, so he can't come over here. He's got to be trapped because he goes rogue. B-Man, how are ya? Number 2. Who's going to be number 3? It actually tells you on here. So, yeah, it's good doing these live too because people can ask questions. But while they're talking and while, generally at the start, I can't, it's hard to, what's it called? Read that and listen. So sometimes, I'll usually wait till the end. Sometimes I might be able to read a message in there. But if my mods are here and someone asks a really good question, just pin it and then, because Tonksy can see the messages too. But yeah, I've noticed, I think that these are a good way to go because it lets other people ask the question too. Sometimes I might miss a question. But yeah, Tonksy's out there like a few of us where he's gone through some trouble in his life and he's turned it around. Does a podcast as well. Moved away from his area like I did, which is a good idea. I tell people that a lot. Like you really need to try and get away from the area. And people don't want to move because they don't know people. They think they're not going to know anyone or meet anyone. But you know what I mean? Yeah, when you're not doing shit or hanging around people, then it forces you to just better yourself and your life, and just do productive things. Every man, like no offense to the women, like most men want to look after a woman, and some women like that, but every man needs a part in his life where he just works hard, for a few years, because it really, if you don't do that and you just keep fucking around and drinking every weekend, here he comes. Tonksy's here now. What's behind you? Tonight, Versace. Tonksy. Good, bro. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Good to see you, brother.
No, you too.
Yeah, I've been all right, bro. The last 8 months anyway, bro. I had a bit of a slip up there, say 6 months before that.
Yeah.
And when I say a bit of a slip up, bro, the worst I've ever been, eh?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I did keep it pretty hush. Oh, look, bro, I could throw you all the reasons in the world, but at the end of the day, I chose to fucking do it again, didn't I, So, I mean, I had a bit of a relationship breakdown and, a few things weren't going too great at the time, but what did I do? I jumped straight back into it, didn't I? After being 3.5 years fucking clean, here I find myself, 20, I lost 20 kilos, bro, in such a short amount of time. I only just started to stack it back on again, so.
Wow.
But yeah,
I suppose in a few months.
Yeah, so what happened was as you know, I was around 3.5 years clean there. I moved from Tassie up here to the Gold Coast, obviously to get clean. I was 3.5 years clean from the ice, I might say.
Yeah.
And then all this shit happened, and I had a relapse and went hard for about 5 or 6 months, bro, and finished up. about 8 months ago now, so I'm about 8 months clean again now, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you had a relapse up there where you are now.
Yeah, bro, it's a big world up here, bro, compared to
Yeah,
back home in Tassie.
yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't just the gear either. It was they call it Frank up here, the G,
Oh yeah,
PB8, the
yeah.
Fana, whatever you want to call it. Like that
And
goes
by
hand in hand. Bro.
with the gear, you mean ice?
Ice, bro. Yeah,
Yeah. Because in New South Wales, gear's heroin.
yeah, it is up here too. But so
Oh yeah,
I mean, in Tassie, obviously where I'm from, heroin. I think it's only just starting to become a thing down there, but it was never. You don't come across a heroin addict in Tassie. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So gear was just that, but up here they do call the H gear as well. It's
Oh yeah,
when I say gear, bro, I reflect. I take it back to like the old school whipper and then into the ice. That's gear to me, sort of thing. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Wait. All right. Well, to everyone that's here, this is Tonksy. His links are down below. He's got his own podcast, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and you're on TikTok too. Yeah.
yeah, brother,
I've,
yeah. Just type in
they're all
Tonksy,
in
you'll
the
find me. Mate.
description. Yeah. So we'll just
Well,
we'll go back. We'll go back instead of and we'll come back to that. But so you grew
yeah,
up in Tasmania. What was
I
that
did.
like growing up, your family life, life as a kid there?
I tell you what, bro. Tassie, man, it's a small place. So I grew up in a suburb by the name of Claremont. It's the northern suburbs of Hobart, down there in the south of Tassie. Um, I'm the eldest of four, bro. So there's me, then a sister 2 years under me, and then a brother 2 years under her. And then there was a big gap, I think 8 or 9 years between my brother and our younger sister. We're all to the same mum and dad.
Oh, oh yeah,
Um, yeah, so I mean, I always had that. I was the eldest, so I sort of had to try and be a role model, I guess, to my
yeah.
siblings. But it didn't go that way, bro. Ended up fucking us three elder ones all ended up fucking cooked. So, but
Oh yeah,
I grew up, bro, around like through my teens were sort of like the early 2000s.
yeah.
I finished high school in '08, so but around that time, bro, was like how can I put it, like fucking postcode war sort of era. You know what I mean? It
Oh
was
yeah,
and it was hectic like that in Tassie too, bro. Like even
yeah.
like suburbs next to each other. You just rep your postcode, bro, and we'd bang on like with all message. But back then too, it wasn't like there was no weapons and shit like that, or
Yeah,
like it was all fair go. It was all just fists, man. Like we'd all message like mouthing off to each other, organise a day to meet up, have a big old brawl. You know,
oh yeah,
um, but taking it back to the family life, bro. Yeah. So my old man, he's got a pretty heavy. It's probably not so much these days. He's starting to get on a bit now in age, but back in his day, bro, he had a very very heavy reputation as a violent man. Violent pub fighter. Um, there wasn't many pubs, bro, that he wasn't barred from, or.
yeah,
So yeah, he grew up in up a bit more north to where we all grew up as a family in a suburb by the name of New Norfolk.
yeah.
It's known as a fucking a pretty heavy fucking how can I put it, like
Rough.
it's got a pretty big reputation for hard families coming out of that place, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now the surname Tonks actually. So my old man, my pop, he was him and my nan, so dad's mum, they split up like from when dad was young, and he was actually raised by his stepfather, which that's where all the violent nature came from, was actually his stepfather. So
Oh yeah,
that's not really a Tonks thing, bro. It's more of his surname was Oakley, so the Oakleys are pretty big down there in Tassie.
yeah.
But no, he sort of raised dad and his siblings. He was the father of Dad's little sister. So yeah, he's Dad's stepfather. But he sort of was raised pretty hard by him, sort of not to be fucked with. He met my mum when they were about 16. Mum come from a completely opposite sort of family, she was, and her family still is like pretty proper,
Yeah.
But I feel that sort of mum getting with Dad, he sort of shaped her into I tell you, man, there ain't many blokes even that would get it over my old lady, put it that way, she was the black sheep of her family, bro, for sure. Like, but yeah, I mean, like when I say that, bro, I've watched her knock Dad's mates clean out, at the party. Like, yeah, she's a hectic, but she ended up, long story short, there, we sort of grew up. There was both mum and dad loved to party. There was on and off times of domestic violence, pretty hectic sort of stuff, and they ended up, if I can put it short, so they ended up splitting up when I was about 12. There was orders put in place where so at the time when I was 12 was when my youngest sister was born. So around the time mum and dad split up. So there was orders put in place there where, we weren't allowed to see dad, and whatnot. So like from that was more so around the age of 13, 14, 15. And I look back now, man, it was a sad time, like my old boy's my idol, I look up to dad, always will. But at the time, bro, it was like, and mum's so lenient, like get away with fucking anything with the old lady. So at the time, it was like fucking freedom, there's no strict parent anymore. And I sort of took the role on, as the man of the house sort of thing, and fucking, I'd have parties, bro. I'd be like the old lady, so she'd only ever been with one guy before dad. So when they split, her life sort of began. She was going out partying, fucking doing this and that. And as soon as she'd leave on a Friday, bro, leave us kids at home with Bub, which my little sister at the time, she'd leave us at home from like Friday to Sunday, sometimes Monday, bro, and I'd just fucking tear it up, and I'd have fucking 50, 60 people in the house all weekend, fucking, and that was around the time too that pingers were a big thing, bro. So there was no ice, none of that. A bit of the old school gacky whip or whatever you call it was around, but it was all pingers, bro, and they were good. I mean, like you could go your mate halves in one, and you'd be buckled for the next 24 hours. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, so that sort of went on for a bit, bro, and I might mention too. I picked up that violent nature from dad from a very young age too. Like I said at the beginning, with the postcode wars sort of shit. Like a lot of people knew me as Matty Tonks's son, which at the time too, I thought I was king shit, but also had a lot of enemies too. Like a lot of blokes dad's age and shit too. Then you're that fucking Matty Tonks's son, like. But I cop that a lot, bro. But like I've always stood staunch, like I wouldn't rate myself as the greatest fighter, but I was raised to never back down from anything, and to this day I still wouldn't, and that's not trying to be a hero. That's just how I was raised, and but yeah, so there was that period where mum and dad had split and we weren't allowed to see dad, and mum picked up a drug habit back then, and like that ended up going on for the next 20 odd years, bro. She was she got pretty deep, and when my little sister was the age of 4, bro, she was so I'll just fast forward a little there. So
you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah, I'll just keep flowing on. But mum had ended up in jail, so we all ended up back with dad, living with dad full time. Structured. I was 16. I just got an apprenticeship as a metal fabricator, a sheet metal worker. Dad was always that one too. Like he was a pisshead, loved a beer at the pub, and loved to knuckle on a bit and that. But when it came to us kids, it was like he always made sure that get the fuck up, get your ass to work. You're not having the fucking day off. You know, he had that sort of nature about him, which was good, but in a strict way though. Like,
Yeah.
so you know, yeah. So I started apprenticeship at the age of 16, but around that time, you know, my little sister was 4, and she was diagnosed with a abdominal tumor. It was a big tumor, big cancerous tumor, grew off her bladder.
Brutus.
So they ended up releasing Mum early from jail to be able to see her and stuff because she was rushed from Tassie in an emergency little plane from Tassie straight to the Royal Children's Hospital there in Melbourne.
Yeah.
That they let Mum out early on like compassionate grounds, I guess. I can't really remember, but Mum ended up sort of staying over there. My little sister was over there for the best part of 2.5 years, you know, battling cancer. She was put into remission at the age of 6. So, but through those 2 years, you know, I was sort of left in Tassie by myself, you know.
Oh yeah.
From the age of 16, 18, I that was around the time I got with my 2 elder daughters' mum at the age of 16, and you know everything was going sweet, man. Like I was very mature for my age, you know. Obviously, I was around a lot of, like I said, around a lot of you know, shit that kids my age shouldn't have seen that from a young age, like the domestic violence, the drunken parties, watching dad bash fucking cunts. I remember one night, bro, like the one morning, us kids got up and there was a fucking hole. Literally, it was like the shape of a person, like from the kitchen straight through into the hallway where dad had just smashed some cunt. They put him straight through the wall and at a party, you know, at the house one night, and there was fucking blood, looked like a murder scene, bro. And like it freaked me out as a kid, you know. I was like, fucking what? Like dad's killed someone, you know, like, but there was like blood sprayed up the wall and shit, and just vague memories that I've got in my head, you know. But yeah, so yeah, the little sister spent the next 2 years in jail fucking in the hospital in Melbourne there, and like I said, I'd met my 2 older daughters' mum at the age of 16, and we sort of jumped straight into a deep relationship. You know, before I was 17, we'd got our own rental. Like I said, I was an apprentice. Had a steady income. She was also an apprentice hairdresser. And yeah, we got a cheap little 2-bedroom little flat in that suburb of Claremont where I grew up, where I went to school. And yeah, sort of that was all going well and good. And then you know, like I started to grow a bit of dope, and like I say all this shit too because I ended up getting busted for everything, which we'll get into further along. But
yeah,
I'd always have a nice steady crop growing with you know, guaranteed. Like had a buyer that would buy it every single time it had come through, so I had that guaranteed, you know, hustled income coming in every couple of months, sort of thing. But also, like I said, pingers, bro, like eckies, ecstasy. They were a big thing, bro, and I'd tried them a couple of times, and then I wanted to get my hands on them. So, I started off just getting a 10-pack here and a 20 here, and then it would go to 50. And before I knew it, I was like going a bloke halves in a couple of thousand a week. And if you've got 1,000 pingers in Tassie, bro, you're doing all right. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like that was pretty much supplying the whole fucking nightclub scene.
Yeah,
in Hobart of a weekend, like So yeah, I got into that, and I remember one night actually. I told this on the last podcast I was on. Actually, I remember I actually was in a nightclub by the name of Ivory Lounge Bar in Hobart there, and it's a notorious nightclub, bro. It's like it's the last one open where every they're guaranteed to be all in brawls out the front when it's the daylight's coming, But I was in there one night, and I'd gained this reputation of the cunt that had all the pingers and whatnot, and I don't sell them cheap and undercut every other cunt, like obviously I was getting him in the big lots and whatnot, and they come this one night, and like I'd literally walk into this. It was underground, this nightclub, so you'd walk down these stairs, hang a left, and then there was sort of like a big rectangle type club with a bar up the end, and up this end was like the DJ area with like a little lounge, a little VIP lounge off to the side of the DJ area there. And we'd always sit there, and literally some nights, bro, you'd have it's cunts would be lining up waiting to see you, to fucking to fix them up. And I remember I was standing outside the toilet block in this nightclub one night, and cunt come up to me, and he was beaming, bro. His eyes were fucking like dinner plates, and he's like, "Oh, I've heard you're the one with the shit. Can I'll get a 10-pack off you, bro?" I was like, "Yeah, sweet. I'll meet you in the toilet in 5 or whatever." Went in there, bro. Went in the cubicle. Come in here, quick. He's come in. He fucking pulled a badge out, bro. So I was like, "Holy shit!"
Oh
I
yeah.
had. I remember I took like maybe 150, 200 pingers out with me that night, and mind you, too, I'd eat fucking 5 or 6 myself throughout the night as well.
Yeah.
Be fucking munching me face off, like. But anyway, he's pulled a badge out, and long story short, I was like, "Fuck," and he's like, "I can arrest you right here, mate, or you can follow me out, and like you go into the station, I'm charging you, whatever." I was like, "Nah, no, 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 no. Like, let me walk out by myself. I don't want anyone to know," sort of thing.
Yeah.
Walked out, like, cut the story down again. I ended up back at the station. They bailed me out, took all the fucking pingers off me that I had, and they made me strip search me. They had me in my undies and whatnot, and they took 150 odd pingers off me, and bro, no word of a lie, I never ever heard another word. I did because they give me a bail notice, but no court date, nothing like
Oh
that. Like,
yeah.
so I was expecting, like, maybe a summons in the mail
Yeah.
or something like
I've
that.
had that happen. Yeah.
Bro,
With ice.
where'd the
Yeah.
fucking
Never
where'd
heard
the
from them
pingers go?
again. Yeah.
You tell me, bro. Like, but
Yeah.
I only told that story for the first time on the last podcast I was on, bro. It just come back to me then too. Like, it's something I can talk about because they took them, so it's like we're both bad. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah. So that happened, and you know, that was sort of like I was peaking, bro, thinking, fuck, like 150 pingers. I was selling them for like 30, $40 a pew at the time, and I was thinking, fuck, I'm going to go to jail. Like, I'm freshly 18, 19, maybe 20 around this time. I think I'm going to go to jail. Like, that's pretty a big lot to be caught with, like, in Tassie especially. And um, yeah, never ever heard anything, bro. So I mean, they got the pingers, so I ended up fucking losing out on a bunch of cash and whatnot. But yeah, I can probably guarantee you
No,
that a couple of
yeah.
weekends, a few weekends after, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
fucking oath, eh? Like, these are the good
But yeah,
ones, let him go.
yeah, I remember too. They were the green UFOs, bro, and it was like they
Oh,
were
yeah.
the shit at the time. But yeah, so that happened, and like throughout all those years too, bro, I was like, I always had this head on me, bro, and it wasn't until the later years, once I had kids and shit like that, that I actually stepped back a bit and realized you're a fucking idiot, like. But I always had this head, like I said, I'd always people that know me as dad's son and shit, and so I sort of felt like I had to hold a reputation for that.
Yeah.
And so I was always bang on, bro. That I'm like to this day. I remember I was down in Tassie less than a year ago and tried to get in. I was on a Bucks night and tried to get back in this nightclub, and I've still got a life band, like fucking a decade later.
Yeah, they remembered
And
ya?
yeah, they do. It's still the same owners and shit. Like I said, Tassie's a small place, and when you look like me, I'm 6'5", bro, stretched earlobes, fucking covered in
Yeah.
tats. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy to point me out, but yeah. So I end up like I said, I was always in punch ups and shit, getting banned from nightclubs and this and that. When I was 19, I yeah, my then well, my elder daughter's mother, she fell pregnant with. So she fell pregnant when I was 18. She had our first daughter, Amali, when I was 19. Um, that like I'll always hold the. You there?
Yeah, yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're right, mate. Yeah, so I'll always hold it. Like I would know I was a good dad and stuff
British.
when the kids were little. Like, but you'd think it would, quiet me down a little bit. I still had this head on me. Like I need to make money. I need to fucking, I had to keep the dealing side of things going. And meanwhile, I've always got this crop growing in the background as well. So I always had this greedy head on me, bro. Greedy fucking like how can I put it? Like if I looked at someone like that now, I would think you fucking little dickhead. You know,
Yeah.
like now I'm older and can look back, and that's just being honest, you know. But at the time, I thought I was king shit, bro. You know,
Yeah, I know what you
had
mean.
all the toys and shit. Yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Anyway, I kept it going, and then my younger daughter Harlow, my second daughter Harlow was born when I was 21. Yeah, and you know, same deal. I was still always working in that too, though. So on the outside, I looked like I was doing all right, but really, I was slowly crumbling down on the inside.
Yeah.
You know, accumulating big drug debts with people and things like that, and then I remember at the age of 23, bro, pingers were starting to die out a bit, or they were still around, but the potency of them was like dying in the ass. You know, it was like you'd have to fucking drop 3 at once to get the feel of what half used to do to you. You know,
Yeah.
but then at the age of 23, bro, I remember it was like an after party after a night out one night, and this little flute, like this little fucking glass pipe, man. I was like, what's that do? Like, me
Yeah.
go, like, you know. And so fair enough. I remember I had no idea what I was even doing, bro. I've like put this thing in my mouth and like lit it, and it's just sucked all the rocks straight back into my throat, like. And I was like, what the fuck? And that's how it started, brother. That was where my huge, you know, the next 10 years of my life fucking spiraled out of control, bro. Was from that one night. And
Yeah.
then, you know, before I knew it, I'm ticking up my whole pay, bro. I'm not paying rent. I'm fucking doing, you know, um, but back then, like it was people were charging $100, $150 just for a point
Oh
of
yeah.
ice, you know.
But in Tasmania.
Yeah, this was, you know, 10 to 12
Yeah.
years ago now. But
Stay.
yeah, so
I'm just If you're just wondering what I'm doing, sorry.
you're right, mate.
My my daughter has no bottle, so I'm just
Ah, true.
driving. I'm just driving around the corner. So we'll keep going.
Yeah, you're right, mate.
Yeah. That's why it cut off a second ago. They were trying to ring. But yeah.
Ah, gotcha. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
But is there
I'm
a
just
way we can
flushing them.
pause it even, bro?
Oh no, it's all right. They're only
No.
around the corner from where I live.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the age of 23, bro, was when I first ever tried the pipe. You know, ice, fucking. We call it gear down there, and fuck, man, I'll tell you what, the next 10 years is pretty much a blur. You know, if I tried to reel off everything that happened in those 10 years, bro, we'd be here for 10 years, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my relationship went to shit. You know, she left me with the kids. We lost our house. You know, I ended up in a little, like little fucking ensuite, little humpy thing down underneath my uncle's house, bro. With like, you know, happened to all of a sudden, you know, and like I said, I got with her when we were 16. We moved out of home when we were 16, bro, and you know, she was like, and then split when I was 23. So that was like a big chunk of my life that I was with her. I didn't even know how to use a washing machine, bro, or like I was just all of a sudden dumped on my own, and
Yeah.
then have the, you know, I've got a 2-year-old, you know, a 3-year-old and a 12-month-old, still both in nappies. And you know, she's dumped the kids on me too. I didn't say dump the kids on me; it was them on their father. But it was like I come off the ice, and you know, reality hit me that fuck, it's all my fault. You know, so I've got to live with the feeling of like, fuck, I fucked this all up. Now I've got to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
It fucking go for a good 18 months. You know, I couldn't even look at another girl or whatnot. Like I was head over heels for her. You know, I wasn't ready to split up, but obviously I fucked it, and you know, for her sake, she done the right thing and got out of there. And you know, and to this day, she's moved on and living a good life, and you know, become successful and whatnot. But I guess it was all supposed to happen. You know, I ended up getting my own place, and so my dad's brother had a house in. Funnily enough, the guys that we used to feud with, the suburb next door to Claremont, I ended up getting a
Oh
house
yeah.
bang in the middle of that suburb. The suburb name's Chiggle,
So
and
you're still in the same area.
always in the same area, bro. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But we used to bang on with the Chiggle boys, as we used to call them. Moved the claim on board, the Chiggle boys. But here I got a house smack bang in the middle of fucking Chiggle.
Yeah.
But you know, we'd grown up a bit and stuff, and you know, I ended up getting another partner, and you know, she helped me. I ended up having my girls week on, week off. We sort of both moved on, and both was, you know, grounded and that again. And mind you, once I split with her, I got off the shit, man. I didn't touch it for nearly 3 years.
Yeah.
I'd finished all my apprenticeship and everything like that, and was doing all right, you know, and still always got the ganja growing in the background though, you know, and yeah, so I was with this chick for 12 months.
I'm live. You're right.
Yeah, so I was with this chick for 12 months. Like I said, she was a great chick. She helped me get my shit together. Like I said, started having the kids week on, week off, and we had a blinder one night, and I won't go into too much detail, but you know, she fucking couldn't handle her piss, bro, and she ended up smashing the windows out of my house, and the coppers were there. My kids were there at the time too, so the cops automatically put like an order on her. She wasn't allowed to come back. You know, she just this fucking crazy bitch couldn't handle her piss, and put it short. You know. Yeah, and so that split us up. You know, and like it wasn't too long after that, bro. It was so, like I said, I was a good 3 years clean from my first ever episode on the ice, you know, and then broke up with her, and I used that. I think I used that as the excuse to, you know, at the time there was a few boys in the area selling ice, and by this stage, you know, like 3 years later, the price had gone down, you know, $40-$50 for a dot sort of thing, and I just had this feeling come over me one night. Like, I think it was sort of, I really don't know, but I think it was sort of in like like a revenge sort of way. Like, fuck you, you know, you smashed my. I'm gonna go and give it. Yeah, sort of that. I think so, bro. Because I don't know, I get asked all the time, what made you fucking do it? And I don't know, bro. It was just a little quick thought that I acted on, which, fuck, bro. Fuck, man, I remember I went and bought a pipe. I mean, a point off a mate, and he used to blow glass pipes and shit at the time too. So I bought a point and a pipe off him. I remember I went back home and just stood in the laundry, bro, and smoked this point, and it was like, oh my god, that's what it feels like, you know, the old fucking scalp went tight and the shit, you know, it was like, what the fuck, and that was it, brother, for the next
it's
however
that
long,
one
bro.
breath, like that one, even just the taste on the lid, it's just like, fuck.
Yeah, bro.
It's gone.
Yeah, I know that, you
like,
know, man. You know what I'm saying, eh? Like, it's fucking.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's just that one little tiny, like, fuck, you touch it, and that's like, see you later.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened, you know. And I remember it was around the. So yeah, I that was that one night, bro. I think I went for the good 3 days there. Then I, you know, just went back to him and got a bit more and fucked and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's
like the Ring. You know the Ring, the movie, like the Precious. Like, as soon as you touch that ring, like you just want it, eh?
Exactly, 100%. But yeah, so I end up very quickly going from, like, I thought, fuck, man, I can't keep up with my habit. I'm going broke. So I remember I literally went from fucking like, you know, ticking up maybe like a half an 8 ball and like smoking my little bit and then selling the rest to pay for it, sort of thing. And that went within a few months, bro. I'd gone from that to you know, like full blown flying to Melbourne, bringing back like ounces and ounces in my undies, and
yeah.
So I went from like you know, ticking up a half ball to like selling my own ounces on a weekly basis in a very, very short time, like maybe 2 or 3 months. But during that 2 or 3 months, I actually so I knew a chick that lived in Melbourne, and she was a user as well, and so like, there's a little bit of mixed. So my 25th birthday, my little brother He would have been 20, 21 at the time. He shouted me over to Melbourne, bro. And this story is pretty hectic, actually.
Yeah.
He shouted me over to Melbourne for Kevin Hart stand-up comedy show at the Rod Laver Arena.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
it was my
Next year.
25th birthday. My little brother shouted me. We went over there. We were both of us were on the pipe, you know. And I remember I'd like vacuum sealed a bit and put it in my sock and shit and went on the plane. And so we had a bit of stuff over there. But while we're there, funnily enough, we ran into this young dude. He was only my brother's age. I remember I was in this little news agency convenience store thing, like trying to buy a pipe, like a glass
Oh
pipe,
yeah.
you know, and it'll come out, and my little brother's like talking to this fucking. I thought this bloke was like maybe homeless or something. He had that sort of aura about him, you know.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, he was from Tasmania as well. We didn't know him, but he was a Tassie boy as well. Just caught up in addiction, lost in fucking Melbourne CBD, you know. And it, cut a long story short, we ended up taking him back up to our hotel room. We had this little, I think it was like $60 a night, man, just a little shoebox with a couple of little single beds in it and a desk, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah.
And we're taking him back up. He had a bit of ice on him and stuff. So we went up and I'd got this pipe. We had a bit of a session on it, and we ended up like spending sort of the next 5 days or so over there with him, and you know, no sleep whatsoever. So we've buckled up by the end of the trip, sort of thing. And it come the last night we were there, we had no gear. It was like that come down feeling, that depressed, you know, the feeling when you're coming off it, you got nothing, you know. And
Yeah.
and this fella, he had a connection over there where he could get a bit of hate, a bit of smack. And like I'd never fucking ever like I'd heard of it. It was like for me, bro, it was like something that you'd see on a documentary, or they only did that shit in America. Like I
Yeah.
said, heroin was a thing in Tassie, so I never really knew about it, you know. And I forgot to add to this young fella. He was an IV user, you know. And
Oh yeah.
um, by this stage too, man, my old lady was deep into it, you know. And I hadn't spoke to her for a few years, and you know, she was when I you know say Unky J, that's being nice
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
She got that, bro, really bad, you know. Ended up doing like I think she's done 9 or 10 lagons in jail, you know. Just like small. I think her longest one was like a 9 or 10 month, you know, but just small
Yeah.
ones here and there for shoplifting and possession and this and that
Yeah.
and driving and but yeah, so I was always query about like fuck, mum does it like always. But at the same time too, man, my dad was that fucking strict. Like we couldn't even wear flip flops at the beach in case we fucking trod on a dirty needle. You know, he was that sort of dad. Like
Yeah.
completely opposite parents. But I was like, fuck. And then this young fella's like, we can't get any gear, ice, but we can get a bit of hate, you know, a bit of smack. And it was my birthday weekend, bro. So I was like, fuck, all right, why not? Yeah, fuck it. If you're doing it, I'll do it then, like whatever. And I remember my little brother, bro, was that dirty on me. He's like, you're a fucking idiot, Braden, you know. You're gonna end up just like fucking mum. Look at you, you know, fucking give me that big lecture that
Yeah.
I should have listened to. But yeah, and then anyway, I didn't listen to him. I'm the big brother, you know. So I remember I shut him up and said, "What about if I get you a bit of weed? You know, will that shut you up?" And we did. We ended up getting a bud off this same dude. So anyway, I got on a trip from Melbourne. We were sort of up like the north side of Melbourne City, and we had to go down to Richmond to meet this fella on the tram. And still remember this bloke, bro. Like there was something about him. He was a Vietnamese fella. He had like a dark ponytail, and we
Oh
met
yeah.
him, man, on like you know them old school overpasses that go over the road, like so you can cross. You usually see them around schools and shit.
Oh
Like
yeah. Yeah. Like the
we met him
walkers.
on this dark stairway going up to one of them, and like I was already on the peak. I hadn't slept for days, you know. I'm fucking like, and
Yeah.
being in Melbourne too, I'm like middle of the night, like who the fuck's this cunt? Like, but I remember him saying like, I remember we went arms. It was $50 each, $100, and he gave us 4 points of this chalky fucking yellow chalky substance. Like it just looked like a fucking little bit of chalk. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and anyway, I had no idea. I just sort of went off what this young bloke, he knew what he was doing, so I thought. And I remember this Vietnamese fella that we got it off though, bro. He's like, look, this shit, it's not to be fucked. Like you go, you know, there's enough there for, you know, it'll keep you going for a few days, sort of thing. Like
Oh yeah.
I remember it vividly him saying that. Like, but like I said, I'd never experiment with it. Didn't know fuck all about it. We ended up going back to the hotel, bro. And fair enough. I remember this young fella. I won't say his name out of respect for his family and stuff, but a lot of people
Yeah.
know who I'm talking about. I remember he cut a Coke can in half and like used the bottom of it and mixed up on that. And I was straight. I was like, yeah, I'll go first, like, because I didn't want him to have it and then do it to me while he was off his head, sort of thing, you know.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'd never ever poked a hole in my body before, bro, like this. And
Yeah.
it literally, bro, it gives me anxiety fucking talking about it. Like going back, it's bringing back the memories. Like I remember I was sitting on the fucking bed. So, like I said, there was this little shoebox fucking hotel room, a single bed either side, and then like a little desk at the front. It wasn't even a TV in this thing, bro. It was that cheap. It was like a
Oh yeah.
backpacker type sort of place.
Yeah.
I remember I'm sitting, my little brother's on one bed and I'm on the other bed, sort of sitting on the edge, and little trigger warning, guys. But this young bloke did it to me, bro. And so he mixed a whole lot up. So there was 2 points each, you know,
Oh yeah.
and he did it to me, bro. And I just remember, this is all I remember, is to stand up
Really?
off the bed. And you know, like when you get dizzy, bro, and your eyes sort of go like,
Oh
it was
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that, but going upwards, bro. And I remember I couldn't keep my balance, and I must have fell over, or you know, next thing I know, bro, I wake up and there's 3 paramedics standing over the top of me in this room. My fucking little brother's on the bed next to me, bawling, bro, in hysterics, like I'd never seen him cry like this before since he was a baby. You know, like it was, what the
Yeah.
fuck? I remember I was laying on the floor, bro. I've got all these sticker things on me, and I like look over at me little brother Joel. His name's Joel. He's crying, bro. Like, and I won't lie, man. I felt fucking amazing. Like the euphoric feeling that was going through me was incredible, bro. Like I had no idea what had just happened, but little did I know, man. Your little brother's been pumping me chest. I wasn't breathing for however long it took for the ambos to get there,
Yeah.
and yeah, man. And they're trying to get me to go to hospital and stuff. And like I still remember my eyes and shit being rolling. I just felt so warm and fucking like great, man. It was. And anyway, yeah, I was like, they ended up leaving me there, and I climbed up in the bed and must have went to sleep. Like this whole time, I do not remember seeing this other fella that did it to me there though. But apparently, he was in the room. Long story short, I wake up the next morning, 10 a.m. Like fucking poof 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 on the door, like time to check out. Get the like, hurry up! Like man, we got fucking pipes and bags and you name it, all laying all this hotel room's upside down. So I was like, whoa, woke up like. Fucking my brother's asleep on the other bed, and this other dude's man's like on the floor in a fetal position between us, like, and it was like floorboards. I was like, I didn't even, I'd forgot that it even had anything the night before. Like I was that smashed, you know. And um, but I was just like, we got to clean this room up, you know. Like jumped up and started cleaning up, and woke my brother up, and tried to wake this dude up on the ground, and he was laying there, he had like brown fluid coming out the side of his mouth, bro. Like, and my first thought, bro, was like, oh, this cunt's fucked. He must have got fucked up last night. Like, wake
Oh
up,
yeah.
bro, wake up. And I'm slapping him and slapping him. And I didn't even click, bro. I was like, oh, fuck, and just kept cleaning the room up. And I said to me brother, what the fuck? Like, wake this cunt up. Like, you know, you're going to get in fucking trouble. Like, and I remember I grabbed him, bro, and like picked him up off the floor, like sort of he had his back to me, so I sort of picked him up from behind around here, lifted him up, and he was just full floppy, bro, and then bang, it just clicked to me like fuck, and he was already cold, no, and like and he wasn't
Yeah.
breathing, bro. It was like I was like fuck, you know, and I just went into shock, man. I was like, oh, and then recollections of the paramedics and the fucking and my brother crying, and I was like, holy shit, you know, and so yeah. Anyway, my little brother's like I said, I'm 5 years older than him, 4.5 years
Yeah.
older than him. I should have been the one doing this, bro. You know, but literally, I could,
Yeah.
like he's a hero, man. My brother was. He little did I know he'd revived me the night before.
Yeah.
Now I'm standing there in this fucking hotel room watching him with the ambulance on loudspeaker, fucking phone next to this dude's head, pumping his chest, giving him mouth to mouth. all this brown fluid's coming up out of this bloke into my brother's mouth and shit, and he's spitting it out, and then he's looking up at me. This is what I was fucking having to do to you last night, you fucking idiot, fucking, you know. And I was just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? And then yeah, man, and so obviously the ambos and cops and everything rocked up, and instantly they split me and my brother up like the coppers did, and you know got a statement off each of us. Obviously they were
Yeah.
suspicious, like, you know, did we kill him
Yeah.
or what? And clearly,
Yeah.
you know, clearly the cops. Clearly, we both told the same story. I was going to say we didn't have time to make
Yeah.
a story up or anything, so
Yeah.
we clearly, the cops sort of clicked straight on what had happened and realised it was a heroin overdose. Meanwhile, the ambulance are in there trying to revive him, and I think they got him going again on a like the life support thing or whatever. And
Oh
this
yeah.
was a Sunday morning. We were due to fly home lunchtime. You know, like so we was like had to sort of get straight out of there, straight to the airport. And yeah, bro. So the Tuesday morning, his family turned the life support off, and yeah, he died, bro.
Oh
And that was
wow.
like, yeah, it sort of shook me up a bit for a lot of years. And what haunted me the most, bro, was you know, I ended up receiving a fucking letter in the mail from I don't know, what might have been Alfred, but it was an ambulance bill, you know, and
Oh
like
yeah.
this fucking letter, bro, floated around my kitchen. I shit you not, for over a year. You know, it'd be up on top of the fridge, and then it'd be in the fucking fruit bowl or on top of the microwave. It just would float, like it never ever got thrown out.
Yeah.
I never paid it either, but it never ever got thrown out. I remember a couple of times, like Dad would come to the house, and like I said, I'm renting a house off Dad's brother, off my uncle, so Dad sort of had the the say of what went on in that house in a way, you know. And
Yeah.
I remember he spotted this fucking envelope, bro, a couple of times on, what's this? Like, what the fuck's this? And I'm just, oh, it's nothing, Dad. Like, just throw it aside, forget about it. And then it'd be in a different spot next time he come, you know. And bro, he never ever found out. And then I ended up having a falling out with my little brother, and um, his only way to get me, you know, was to fuck you, cunt. I'm telling Dad everything. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm glad he did though. You know, I'm glad he
Yeah.
did. Because it was a weight off my shoulders, bro. Once the old boy found out, and I told him everything, bro, in detail. You know, and yeah, and you know, this whole time too, man. Like I said, this young bloke was a Tasmanian as well, and when you're in Tassie, you don't. If you don't know someone, you've at least heard of them, or you know their family, or you know it's that
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
And so I started seeing this woman posting on Facebook. Like I seen a photo of this fella that had died, and this is his mum, man, and she's fucking written up like a big post on Facebook. You know, my son was found in a gutter, OD'd on heroin, and I'm thinking, oh my god, we were the last ones with him. Like
Yeah.
I just had this guilt, this need to tell her. You know, I was like, I not couldn't, bro, because obviously after it, I started going hard, bro, hard on the ice, and started to use
Yeah.
the IV, you know. So I'd taken it to the next level, bro. And I was
Yeah.
fucking fried, man, you know. Anyway,
And that could have so easily been you. Like you didn't have
yeah,
experience
well, it
with
was,
stuff
it
either.
was. I mean, I was just bigger and
Yeah.
older than this young bloke, and pulled through,
Yeah.
bro. We had the same amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very scary. But Joel, my little brother, said I wasn't breathing for a good 15 minutes. You
Wow.
know, and I think, fuck, man, like 1 minute is a long time. You
Yeah.
know, and like, yeah, um, yeah. He said I'd keep coming back. I'd take a big deep breath, and then I'd be gone again for fuck another 5 minutes or so. You know, and I can only imagine the trauma that he still holds from it. You know, but
Yeah. For sure.
yeah, and you know, and unfortunately, man, he's absolutely fucked up on the ice still to this day, and I believe that's a big factor to it. You know, a big
Yeah.
reason behind it. But yeah, so anyway, I'd seen his mum post this big thing, man, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my god, that's not even the truth. She doesn't even know the truth behind her son's death," you know. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I got a message her, and I did. I messaged her and said, "Look, um, I'd like to." I briefly explained that we were the last people with him. I didn't tell her what had happened or nothing like that because I didn't have the balls, man. To be honest, I was gutless when it come to that, you know. And I said, like, I'd like to catch up with you in person and explain it all to you in person. You know, it's the least that you deserve.
Yeah.
And she's like, look, can you write me a letter? I was like, yeah, okay, no worries. Like, just give me a couple of days. I'll get something good together for you. And then I went fucking downhill, man, on the ice. And I didn't even get back to her. She messaged me over a dozen times throughout the 12-month period, like, can you fucking let me know what's happened to my son? And I just couldn't do it, bro. And until one night, yeah, I ended up messaging her. But so throughout that 12 months, you know, I'd met this chick in Melbourne. So that this is where I'm going back to the original story now. I met this chick in Melbourne and started seeing her. And first time I caught up with her was actually when we were over there when this happened in Melbourne. So I'd caught up with
Yeah.
her. You know, we sort of kicked it off, sort of jumped. We were both using. We jumped into a relationship straight away, and she linked me up with this guy that, at the time, I could get ounces of ice off him for like a third of the price of what it was in Tassie.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, righto. So, you know, I got enough coin together. I remember the first time I went over, I'd go over on a Wednesday, bro, and I'd come back on a Sunday every week, you know, so I'd be home for fucking 2 days and I'd be gone again for 5. And my excuse was that I was over there, I'd met a new bird, which was the truth. But really, it was a money thing, bro, you know. And so I remember the first time, bro, I brought 1 ounce back, and it was like, I remember I was shitting them, bro, like full blown shitting
Yeah.
them at the airport, like. And I got through piece of piss, and straight up I was like, fuck this, man. If that was so easy, I'm going to load up. And I ended up, long story short, I did it 4 weeks in a row. The first week was 1, second week was 5, third, fourth week were both 5, and then on the 5th week I was like, fuck, I'm going over, bro. I'm going to load up 7, and really fucking. And what I'd do, bro, is I'd literally fucking like crunch them right up into a ball, rubber band them, bag them, rubber band them, load them into me crutch area, like, you know, pube area, down the sides and fucking gooch and all that. Then I'd put like 4 or 5 pairs of undies on, and so I'd be
Oh
real
yeah.
tight, compact in there. And then I'd just wear like a singlet and like loose shorts, you know. And I'd always get
Oh yeah.
row 1, seat C, like the aisle seat in the fucking front row. So I'd be the first off the plane, and yeah, bro, it was like I was killing it. I had cash coming out of my ear. I was there for a bit, and then I remember I went over for this big load on the 5th week, and it all fell through, bro. So the fella that I was getting it through, this chick that I was seeing had introduced me to him, obviously, and you know, and you know, it fell through. He was in Sydney or something. He wasn't going to be back in time to do the deal before my flight, whatever. And so I was like, fuck, I'm letting every Tom, Dick, and Harry down in Tassie if I don't bring something back. So I'm like messaging people back in Tassie, do you know anyone, even if you can just give one, you know, like all the messages on my phone, like a fucking immature dickhead, man. Like everything was there on my phone, you know. And
Yeah.
anyway, it all fell through. I couldn't get nothing, bro. I remember I had 20 grand cash on me, jumped on the plane. Obviously, you can only travel with, as you know, you can only travel with 10 grand in
Yeah.
cash max.
Yeah.
So I had 10 grand like block in my backpack, and I put 5 grand in each shoe, bro, like in between me sock and me shoe, you know, like.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And yeah, and because I was paranoid, I was starting to get paranoid a bit. You know, I felt like I was being watched a bit and that, and um, yeah. And so anyway, I've jumped back on the plane, bro, like filthy, thinking, "Fuck me, what am I gonna do?" Like, no cunt's got anything in Tassie. Like, I was in Hobart at least, you know, and so I was like sorting a lot of people out, you know, and I was letting a lot of people down
Yeah.
if I didn't have it. Anyway, I got back. We touched down in Hobart, and like I popped off the plane and walking, and I don't know if you've been to Tassie, bro, but Tassie Airport's a little place. Like there's only like 5 gates there at the Hobart Airport, you know.
Oh yeah.
I walk along the tarmac, bro, and I'm thinking, fucking that cunt in front of me, like he don't look like he works here. Like, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's all right. I'm getting closer and closer. As I got closer, he's like grabbed me by the arm and he's like, keep walking. If you don't want to make a scene, keep walking. And I was cocky, bro. I knew I had nothing on me and that. Like, fucking touch
Yeah.
me, cunt. You know, like, and he's like, it showed me his little badge just here, and I was like, oh fuck, like, oh here we go. I was thinking it's all good, no, no. Anyway, they took me into this little, like, it was like a half renovated room, bro. Like, just, I didn't even make it into the airport. It was literally straight off like the tarmac into this little fucking half plastered out room, man. And they literally strip searched me, bro. And their reason was that I had a warrant for failed to appear to court for just another matter. That's why they pulled me up at the airport. But I'd been tipped off. Like, I found out a few years later actually who it was and the details of it all. But that's another story. But I had no idea at the time, so I'm thinking, "Fuck off! They've got me for a warrant," like, you know. Um, and then and so they full strip searched me, man. And like, I mean, I've been strip searched and stuff before, but this was like they full like made me pull me fucking thing back, and oh man, and it was like, wow,
Yeah.
they were searching for
Open
it
up.
hard, you know.
Yeah.
And, they got me with the cash, and I remember taking my shoes off, and they seen the cash, and it was all rubber banded and fucking
Sus
like,
as, eh?
sus as, bro. And then they found a little bag in me, for a little bag, like a little satchel in me backpack, like
Oh,
a little
yeah.
wash bag. It still had like residue in it. I was like, oh, and that was enough. Like that was their excuse. I feel like, man, still to this day, I don't know, but because there's no way I would have missed that in my bag, knowing I was traveling and no one doing what I was doing, bro. There's no way I would have had that, like sniff it, you know. So I feel like, because little did I know at this time, my house is being raided by a couple of other detectives already while I'm still at the airport. So I feel like maybe they'd gone to my house and because it was one of my little setties with me special little picture on it and whatever. And I feel like maybe they'd set me up just so they
Oh,
could,
yeah.
like, I don't know, I'm probably wrong. Or maybe I did leave a little bag in my backpack. I don't know, but I know that for a fact I'm pretty switched on, bro. I wouldn't fucking, you know what I mean? I don't know, but still, I'm
Yeah.
still
Because
don't know
they
what
can
happened
be
there.
sniffed so easy too.
Yeah, can't they? I know, that's
Yeah.
right.
Like just
And you
one
know,
little bit when you're going to get a lot of shit.
that's right, yeah. And at this
Yeah.
time too, you know, my house was a halfway trap house, bro. Like I've left, right, and centre different people in and out of there, and um, you know, like I'd cunts slaving around for me doing this and that, and like as you do when you're fucking in that world and
Yeah.
at that level, you know, and then and anyway, they've taken me back to the cop shop, fucking, you know, threw me in the video interview and fucking. And I remember him saying one thing, like trying to get me to say this and that, and like I was just like, I knew I didn't have to say a word, you know. So I'm just no comment, no comment. And then I remember they said, "Fucking all right." So explain to me, where did you get that gold necklace, or where did you get the money from to buy that gold necklace from Prouds on in Northgate, which is a shopping centre in a suburb of Glenorchy, like Pacific fucking
Oh,
shop,
yeah.
for this
Oh, they
price
watched
on
you
this
get it.
date. Well, I don't know, bro. It's like it's as if they're fucking reading the receipt, bro. They knew every
Yeah.
detail, the price of it, the this, you know, and I'd just bought it. And when they said that, bro, I remember I fucking near shit out my heart, man. It sunk. I was like, holy fuck, if you cunts know that, what else do you know? Like, and he's like,
Yeah.
mate, we've been watching you for fucking months. It's like, oh my God, I knew it. Like, um, you know, and I had fuck all of a criminal record, bro, at this stage. You know, I'd been done drink driving once and a couple, what was it? Maybe like a couple of driving charges, like a lick stick, maybe, like, but nothing serious, bro. You know, I had never
Yeah.
ever, I wasn't known as anything, you know, as far as the police went, you know. And anyway, yeah, long story short, like that sent me, bro, into full fucking like psychosis, paranoia. I swear to God, because the car that they took me from the airport back to the Hobart cop shop it was like a fucking brand new white SUV thing, you know, like a D car. And I was like, Ev, I swear to God, man, like after I got out of that cop shop, the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks, man, I was like, every fucking white SUV was a cop, man. I'm the paranoid
Yeah.
heart, you know, I'm full wigging out. And at the time, too, I had what was it, a ZX10 of high powerful road bike, you know, and I was
Oh, yeah.
fucking razzing around on that everywhere at 200 clicks everywhere, you know, and man, like I swear to God, I'd get chased by white SUVs everywhere. It was all just drug fucked, you know. And anyway, I ended up getting that paranoid, bro. I was like, within I think 3 or 4 weeks, I packed up. Like, obviously, I was bailed. Sorry, I was bailed from the cop shop. They said, look, we can lock you up and issue a warrant in the morning for us to come and search your house, or you can give us a permission to search your house, and we'll bail you tonight. And here I am. I'm hanging out, bro. I hadn't been on since like the day before, that morning, or the day before even, and this is nighttime. So I'm like, fuck yeah. And I thought to myself, well, fuck, I hadn't been at my house for like 3 or 4 days since the time I was in Melbourne, and my housemate had been there. And like, I thought he was a solid cunt, bro. Clearly, I wouldn't have had him living with me, you know. And
Yeah.
we went to high school together, and this cunt could bang on and stuff, but he'd slowly disintegrated into a bad junkie. And anyway, I was like, yeah, no, well, look, he's been there the whole time, mate. I said, it's, you know, and mind you, he was picking me up from the airport too. So little did he know, he's there doing circles at the airport waiting for me to come out. I'm already back at the fucking cop shop. And so he'd gone back, and that's when there'd been other coppers there that had raided while he was there. He'd just let him in and whatnot, and they'd taken like me. I had like a 16 camera fucking security system set up. They'd taken all that before I'd even got back there. And anyway, so the coppers bailed me out that night and give me a court date for a few months' time. And took me back and just briefly went through my house, man. And like I'd like firearms and everything like that just stashed in places that people wouldn't even guess, you know. Pull a brick out the side of the back doorstep, and like there was little, you know, things like that. And and so anyway, we got back, and they've going through my house, asked them what's this and what's that. All up, they got about an 8-ball. They also got about a pound of. I just pulled a crop, so they've got about a pound of like off trimmings, stem and leaf. So we're done with a pound of that, and roughly about an 8-ball in just like dribs and drabs that they'd found around the house. And and fucking that was that. And then obviously the paranoia kicked in, and within like 3 weeks or so, bro, I like, fuck this. I packed my whole house up, and I had a little courier ute, and a big tandem trailer. I fucking loaded this ute up, bro, and the trailer, like with all my bikes and my road bike and fucking pretty much none of me big furniture, but just all my good shit. I had kayaks along the roof. I had fucking this and that, downhill mountain bikes and whatnot. A lot of stolen shit too that you know that you accumulate when you're fucking dealing the shit.
Yeah.
And little power tools and things like that, you know. And then I literally, bro, just jumped in my ute and drove from Hobart up to Devonport, like a 3-hour drive to the top of the state, and then caught the boat to Melbourne, bro, and moved in with this chick. So, I'd really only been seeing her for a fucking couple months, like a few days a week when I'd go over and do my thing. Then I moved in with this chick, and I literally, bro, I cleaned myself up there for a good maybe 6 to 8 months, and so did she had too, and she was sort of one that you know. She had a daughter and stuff too, and she was the one that sort of helped me, you know, like, look, you know, you're probably going back to jail when you go back to court. Like, anyway, I ended up going back to court a few months later, and I got slapped with a 12-month suspended sentence with like a 2-year good behaviour. You know, and a couple of other little things, and then, but all wholly suspended, so I didn't go to jail. Obviously, it was a first offence and whatnot. I was really lucky, and so I went straight back to Melbourne, and like I said, a good 6 months clean, was back working, and you know, instead of dealing drugs, I started dealing cars and shit, bro. You know, I had fucking Mercedes and a Beamer and fucking a couple of road bikes, and you know, this and that, and yeah,
Like
and then
legit ones, legit cars.
yeah, all legit, bro.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah, like I'd got back into work, and I got that good head back on me again. Fuck that
Yeah.
life, you know. I nearly went to jail, you know. Fucking so yeah, but that didn't take long, bro. Like I said, about 8 months in, we both, me and her, I was like, fuck, let's get on one night, and just all once, and we both did it like that. That was it, bro. She went into a full-blown schizophrenic, fucking psychotic. So we both did. I couldn't even look at her, bro, without being sus. And I thought, like, this is how bad the psychosis was, bro. She'd like do things like bro, to put her hair up And I'd be like
Yeah.
fucking up there, like thinking she's like sliding bags and shit into her hair and like just full corpse, man. Like, you know what I mean? And she was the same. That's what made it worse. We were both so fried that we used to blow out on each other so bad when we'd get on the shit. And anyway, I remember it was like, I went back to Tassie one weekend to see me kids, and I had this gut feeling, bro. Like I was always sussing her, like she was doing the dirty on me and whatnot. And you know when you get that intuition, gut feeling, like fuck it, man. So I'd done the old paranoid thing, and I hacked into a Snapchat and fucking
Yeah.
um. I was right, brother. I shit you not. Like from Snapchat memories there on the yesterday. So like this is the Sunday morning, and the Saturday night. Here's a photo of this fucking maggot that I was getting these answers off. You know, that she'd introduced me to at the start of our relationship.
Oh yeah.
Fucking laying this photo, bro, was like taken. It's like she'd taken the photo from like laying back in bed from like down between her legs, and you could see this cunt laying across the foot of the bed with his fucking old fella and that out. And then in the background, you can see like the wardrobe with my clothes and shit hanging in the wardrobe.
Oh what?
And straight up, bro. I was like, right, I'm gonna kill this cunt. Like I am literally gonna murder this cunt. You know, that's how I felt. You know, I
Yeah.
felt that shit on so bad. And I remember Dad was like, you're not fucking going back. You are not going back there. Those cunts will kill you, you know. And because they were a pretty hectic crew, like Lebo-y crew, these guys
Yeah.
that I was getting it off there.
Sorry.
He's like, they will stuff. You don't fuck with them, brain. You know, you're not in Tasmania over there, like whatever.
Yeah.
And so Dad wouldn't let me go back, man. And I think like 3 weeks or so went on, and I ended up going back. And yeah, I went back, bro, and this bitch had fucking cleaned up our house, man. There was like, give her credit, all my shit was there, all stacked in the
Oh yeah.
garage. There wasn't nothing missing. All my vehicles and shit were there and whatnot, but the house was empty. And so I was like, what the fuck? So I've gone straight to her work, which was like High Point Shopping Centre.
Yeah.
It's like a big Westfield over this. It's not a Westfield, but it's like a Westfield, you know. And she was a manager of a cleaning crew there, and so I went over there and went to her work. Like, what the fuck is she like? And one of her colleagues is like, she's quit. You know, she quit there the other week. She's not here. And it's like, fuck, what? So I went to her daughter's school. Her daughter had been pulled out of school. And literally wrote to this day, I've never heard or seen another fucking week of her.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, so she's
Shit.
done the dirty and then done the runner. Like, I don't even know if she's still
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah. Hopefully she
But
got clean and raised her daughter, eh?
hopefully, bro, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, and I do hope that. But yeah, so I ended up like going over there, bro, and just fully ruining myself. I got in with a bunch of guys in Ballarat, and um, you know, they funny enough, these guys that are actually in there, the three of them there was, two of them have just got out of jail, all for all accessory to murder, and the main one that I was mates with, in there for murder. So I'm glad I didn't stick around that crew too long, or I would have
Yeah.
probably been in there with them, you know. But
Yeah.
badass cunts, bro. Like, and I think they sort of liked me too because I was just a nobody that didn't know anybody, but I still stood pretty staunch, I guess. And anyway, I ended up writing myself clean off, sold everything, bro. Like, you know, like just went hard for a few weeks and just dwelled on this motherfucker that she cheated on me with, you know. And I was very, very careful with the way I went about it, and I won't say too much, bro. But let's just put it this way: I got him back better than he got me,
Yeah.
and it had nothing to do with women either.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he went broke. Put it that way.
Oh.
I won't say nothing, but I didn't even know, bro. I ended up finding month later finding a little news paper clipping thing online that what I actually did
Oh
to
yeah.
him and his business had actually succeeded, and I got the revenge that I was chasing. So, but I ended up going back to Tassie, bro, and then yeah, this is when I was obviously I was fried, man. Like I was literally like in the photo on the thumbnail, bro. This is around that
Yeah.
time. I was like I said, I'm 6'5", bro. I was like 70 kilo, you know,
Wow.
just a string bean, like
Yeah.
full boned out, you know, just skin and bone. That was it. And got back. Dad wanted nothing to do with me. I was just a junkie in his eyes, and you know, mum's in jail. My brother and sister are fried. Dad Dad's got full custody of my little sister, and he still does to this day. Well, she's a lady now; she's in the 20s now, but yeah. And so I was like, "Fuck!" So I ended up stacking up with another chick in these like absolute lowest of lowest bottom feeding housing commission flats. I swear, bro, they're the worst flats in southern Tasmania. And I shacked up with a chick that lived there, and she was just a user, just a fucking, she just used me because I could get a bit of this and that for her, and I was just using her for a roof, pretty much, a roof over my head at the time. And I ended up around that time, bro, too. One of my closest brothers in the world, shout out Rocky. He was a bandito at the time, and that club had just established in Hobart, man. There was only like 4 or 5 of them in the club, and the president being like a very, very, very well known figure across most of Australia. I won't say his name, obviously, but a lot of people know I'm talking about. When I was a kid, bro, there was 5 people that my old man said do not fuck with, and this bloke was one of them. So I knew he was a serious cunt, the president, and anyway, long story short, bro, they ended up fucking like pulling me in, man, and like taking me under. Like it was all mainly through me mate Rocky. He's actually now a Hell's Angel.
Oh yeah.
But he was, he lived at the clubhouse, bro. And this clubhouse, man, was like it was like a big warehouse, man, that had been decked out. All upstairs was like, it was insane, man. I've still to this day never seen a clubhouse like it, man. Like it had been decked out so cool. They had big plans, this club to establish there. And yeah, anyway, so that pulled me in. I had the next 4 to 6 months, I was, I became one of them, bro, and lived there at the clubhouse for the next 6 months or so. And, and it was fucking awesome, bro. Like obviously I had the reputation of being able to move shit and whatnot in Tassie fast, make quick cash. So obviously I was, put straight on that bandwagon, for the club sort of thing. And, I remember, like, bro, some of the nights there at that clubhouse, like, they're unbelievable fun, man, and I could never ever take that away. You would never see me in a bike club again, bro, but, which I'll go into why in a second. But tell you what, man, some of the nights there was like nights I'll remember the rest of my life, party-wise and things like, and just the amount of respect that it was amazing. But cut a long story short there, it's, I won't go too much into this. It's not my business to talk about, but let's just say there was a bit of an in-club war, a bit of a chapter sort of thing went on. And, it was, and I ended up fucking right in the middle of, watching a big high-ranky Sydney member attack our president. So I've just gone to, like, with a knife, so I've just gone to jump straight in the middle, like, hey, stop. And next thing, fucking tonk, man. I just, from behind, I was hit, man. I felt like I was hit with like a metal baseball bat. That's what I thought, and that's what it sounded like that tong. Like, I mean, it didn't knock me out. I got that full fucking metallic taste in my mouth, like I'd just been hit hard. That, and it dropped me like a fucking bang, and got me clean off guard. And all I literally went to do was jump in the middle and say, hey, like fucking stop, like try to make it up, And I turned around, bro, and this fella's got a little pistol straight to my head, bro, and was like, hit the fuck up. And at the time, I had like a bit of a top knot sort of hairstyle.
Yeah.
He grabbed me by the top of the hair, bro, and fucking ripped me up, gun in my ribs, and like, man, it's another very, like, I don't give a fuck what people think, bro. Let it happen to you, and you tell me what you think, because I fucking
it's
myself,
scary.
bro. I'm not gonna lie, my life flashed in front of me eyes.
Yeah.
All I could see were my kids, and and the fucked up past that I've just been through. And anyway, this cunt walked me back to the car we were in and put me in the car, and then just stood there at the window with it pointed at me. I remember just sitting there, bro. I was sitting in the back seat, like behind the driver's seat, and like, just staring straight in, and I was just thinking, fuck me, this is it. I don't want to part of this anymore. I'm done. You know, I need to fucking clean myself up, and I need to get back into my kids' lives. You know, and yeah, so yeah, cut a long story short, man, I think I hung around for another couple of days, and
Yeah.
that was it. I was like, fuck you know, I don't care. But I got the respect, bro, too, because there was 4 of us there, you know, including the president, myself and the president, so 2 other fellas too. And they shit themselves, bro. They went straight back to the car. I mean, and we're all, the 3 of us sitting in the car with him at the window, this fella at the window with a gun, and I was like when the we're all sitting there thinking, fuck, like, has the president been fucking stabbed? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, there's nothing we can do, man. I've got him at gunpoint. And anyway, 10 minutes later or so, he's come walking back and jumped in the car. And I remember he fucking went off his head at the other 2, you know, you fucking weak dogs, you know. Like, I could have just fucking died. Tonksy back here, you know, he's not even a fucking patched member, and he's the only cunt that fucking stuck up for me, you know. And
Yeah.
um, and yeah, and so I sort of earned that bit of respect. And I remember I was just saying, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm out. You know,
Yeah.
try fucking stop me. Like, try stop me, cunts. I was, swear to God, man, I would have went off like a fucking helicopter. Like, and don't think you're taking nothing of mine either. I did what I had to do. I'm fucking gone, man, and that was it. I never looked back, bro. I still love you know, the aura behind the bike club and whatnot, but it ain't all what you see on the outside, bro. There's a lot of fucking. I'm sure any ex-member will say the same thing, bro. It's not. It's fucked. It's a fucked lifestyle, bro. It has to come first before anything else, before your family, before, you know. And fuck that, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a father to girls, bro. You know, it's like. But yeah, that was the end of that chapter there, bro. And
Yeah.
I think the next 4 months was when I hit the proper rock bottom, bro. Proper homeless. Fucking. I remember. I say this story a bit, bro. I remember fucking sitting behind one of them, you know, big green hydro bins, big hydro box things you see on the sides of the road. You just see them in suburbs and that.
Yeah.
Like big danger signs and that on them. Like,
Yeah.
I remember sitting behind one of them one night, bro, and like in Tassie, I was just in a t-shirt. It was fucking like roaring down. The rain it was that fucking cold, man. Like, and I was sitting behind this thing, bro, like scrawny as fucking drug fucked. And just thinking to myself, like, fuck. And I remember, bro, I prayed to God, bro. I remember thinking to myself, like, I was saying to myself, if you are real, like, fucking help me. I said, or kill me. You know, I'm ready to die. Like, I was bawling my eyes out. I had nothing, bro. Nothing left, you know, like.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, the fucking rain stopped and the clouds come in, you know. It was like, oh. And then I think I probably ended up back at another trap house or something like that. But yeah, man. But there's a lot more to the story of rock bottom there. But you know, if you just picture, man, like I went from like that highest lifestyle of you know, having all the money and the toys and this and that and the drugs and that, to now literally riding a fucking push bike around, bro, with no home, like.
Yeah.
Like full fucked, like one end of the Richter scale to the other, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was yeah, and then I ended up shacking up with another chick, and I'll cut this one short, but this is how I ended up in jail. Obviously, I'd accumulated a lot of little charges here and there, and within the 2-year good behaviour, this 12-month suspended sentence that I got for doing that shit on the plane and that, you know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and anyway, this chick had just got out of jail after doing 13 months for armed robbery. So you sort of get a picture straight away what she was like. And
Yeah.
but she'd, like, you know, she'd got all the help after coming out of jail. They'd got her house and this and that. And again, bro, I sort of just leached my way in. And I'll tell you what, this bitch was hard as nails. So, bro, like she'd punch most blokes up, this chick, you know. And I remember she'd fight like a bloke too. And we were away. I was using flat out with her, and ended up moving in with her in a real rough suburb on the eastern shores of Hobart there. Rokeby. That's the name of the suburb, and it's rough, bro. It's like it's burnt out cars everywhere and shit.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a bush hill there. And anyway, we were blueing all the time, and just as bad as one another, fucked up on the gear and whatnot. And yeah, and then the cops would be called. We lived in this like little complex, like little self-contained townhouses, but a bunch of them in this rural. The nicest way to put it, that was a scummy little fucking
Yeah.
bunch of little flats, and she had got one of them. They were all housing commission, and yeah, so we moved in with her. I moved in with her. We're fighting fucking flat out. Cops are getting called. They ended up getting a AVO put on me, and I think I ended up breaching it fucking 9 times or something, so they'd lock me up for the night, and then I'd get out, bro. I'd know where to go, so I'd go straight back to her, and we'd both be sorry, and for a couple of days, and
Yeah.
then we'd get on and fight, and then same thing had happened, and the cops knew her too. Obviously, she was an armed robber, and you don't get many armed robbers out of Tassie,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then anyway, I remember like it was the last couple of times, and cops were called, and I knew like this is my last legs. I'm having to sign in 3 days a week at this stage, and whatnot, and I wasn't allowed to within this whole suburb because she lived there. But little did they know I was still living there, and shit like that. And I remember the cops were called one time, and I was like, "Fuck, I've got to get out of here. I'm gone." And I had my head straight up. I'm doing 12 months, like straight up, off before any other charges. And anyway, the cops are coming, so I've seen them coming in. There was like a snake sort of driveway into this place, and I've seen them coming in, bro. I'm fucking straight out the back door, legged straight up over the fence, straight through the neighbour's back door, straight through his lounge room and out his front door, and legged it, bro. And they've spotted me, the cops, so they're chasing me on foot. And up behind this complex was like a big bush hill. It was only, well, not big. It was, fair size hill. And fuck you to run to the top of it, sort of thing. But just thick
Yeah.
bush, burnt out cars all through it and stuff. And I was sprinting, man. Like the coppers chasing me. There's like 4 or 5 coppers on foot chasing me. And I remember I just ran and like jumped down underneath this burnt out car and like just laid there, bro, like trying not to even breathe. And they're walking, like literally walking around me. I can hear their footsteps, and you can run, but you can't hide, all the bullshit. I laid there for like 3 hours, bro, until it was starting to get dark, and I hadn't heard the cops for fucking a good hour now, but I was still paranoid, so I ended up climbing out and made my way back over to the other side of the western side of Hobart there, where my dad and stuff lived. I went to dad's, and he's like, "The fucking cops have been here looking for you. Get the fuck out of here," And so I'd go to my brothers, and the cops had been there. I went to my uncles, the cops had been there. They were like following me around, bro, to everywhere I was going. And I remember I was so exhausted, bro. I was like, Dad's like, "Fuck, get in the car, mate. I'll take you to the fucking cop shop, hand yourself in, and get your jail out the way, get over and done with, clean yourself up." I was like, "Righto, let's do it." Take me to the cop shop, bro. I've got in and walked in the doors, and no intention to clear myself in. As soon as Dad's drove off, bro, boom, I'm out of there.
Right.
Going, going back to this Sheila's house that had it's got the AVO on me, and I get back there, and like we make up, and fucking we're in bed and fall asleep. And then I wake up, bro, to like a bedroom full of cops. Like, "Mr. Tonks, you're under arrest." Fucking handcuffed me up and took me, bro. And that was the last time I seen the outside for a bit. They locked me up in the Hobart Remand Centre for a week. And then they processed me over. As if you're from Tassie, you get sent over the river, which is Risdon Prison.
Oh yeah.
But I remember that first drive in there, bro. I'm thinking, fuck, and I'd had feuds with a lot of people, and rival club members and shit in there. I'm thinking, fuck, she's on. But I remember Dad saying to me, like, you know, if anything fucking pops off in there, he goes, "You just go off and you punch any cunt in arm's reach and make," And so that was going through my head, bro. I'm thinking, I'm going to walk in there. I'm ready. I'm just going to start going off like a helicopter and just punching any cunt, and just to show us that was my thought pattern anyway.
Yeah.
And what the old man had sort of told me to do, stand your ground, make them know not to fuck with you from your first day, sort of thing. And anyway, long story short, I've jumped off. I've gone through reception and all that, and got all my gear. They're walking me up to my cell, and as soon as I walk in, the first Tonksy, hey Tonksy, Tonksy. I was like, oh, bro, this is all right, you know. And it was, man. I ended up being one of them cunts that, you know, got hold of a bit of currency in there, and
Yeah.
you know, set myself up in there, bro, and done it sweet, like. But you know, planted my feet. I thought I was going to be doing the 12 months, and we got 4 or 5 months in, and I was still on remand, and like hadn't been sentenced, had been adjourned a few times and that, and then I was like, all right, it's sentence day. They took me over to like all the court appearances had been just video link from jail, and then they've drove me over to the court, and they're like, yeah, we they wholly suspended the rest of me. Oh, sorry, resuspended the rest of me sentence and let me out in the with like you can you're free to leave in a week. So I was like,
Oh yeah.
holy shit! I only just sort of planted, but like gotten used to jail and was actually liking
Yeah.
it and getting fed on, putting weight on. I'm fucking, you know. And then I got back and was like, fuck, I didn't want to get out, man, because I had no plan. I had nowhere to go. The life that I knew before I went to jail was just fucked, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I should mention actually, because to you especially, 10 days before I went to jail, brother, while I was on the run, while the cops were chasing me from fucking family member to family member's house, I tried DMT for the first time,
Oh yeah.
like proper, man, and it changed my life, bro. I think that
Yeah.
like it made my whole jail experience good. It was like still to this day, I haven't had a cigarette, bro, and we're going back fucking 5, 6 years ago now.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking
You know,
oath.
like it's little things like that. But and mind you, I've done it a bunch of times since. I love the
Yeah.
shit, bro. It's
And
my
it's
favorite thing
weird,
to
bro.
do.
Like with that, and even when I got stabbed, the ketamine made me trip. But it's like that shit led me away from drugs, even though they are like considered a
Same with
drug. You know?
DMT, yeah,
Yeah. But then it
yeah,
makes you like you just want positive shit after you like sort of see that, eh?
yeah. And you've done
Yeah.
DMT recently too. Hey, we were
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's magic, bro. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Like, people will
Yeah.
probably hate me saying this, man. You know, if they do, I do not give a fuck, bro. I hope
Yeah.
my kids try it one day.
Yeah.
You know, not a human being can't die not knowing.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's
And
kind
it's
of a
like,
thing where it's like it's so different from an actual drug. Like it's so weird. Like it's unless you've had
it
it, you wouldn't
unlocks something up
understand
here,
how
bro.
fucking weird it is. Yeah,
Nah,
but
it
it just
unlocks something in my mind.
opens your
It made
mind
me
so
realise that
much.
I just understand everything,
Yeah,
evolution. You know,
yeah,
I understand it all now, bro. Like it,
yeah,
yes, but it's magic that shit, bro. And it's not something that
yeah.
it's definitely can't get addicted to it, bro. I get petrified every time I go to try it.
Oh, yeah,
I'll go to
same.
have it. Like it's scary, bro. It's a
Yeah,
fucking. Do you know what I mean? And still,
like
I've
I
done
can
it.
have it any time, bro. I haven't had it for like fuck 6, 7 weeks now because it's just like
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
it's very intense, even though it's short lived, and you know you're sweet. But it's just I don't know what it is that makes it so scary. But yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the happiest I've ever been in my life. Like just for them minutes is the happiest. Like it's like yeah, pure joy.
It is, bro, and it's unreal the colours and the thoughts that go through your head and while you're in
Yeah,
it, and you feel like you've been in it for days, and you come out and it's only been like 8 or 10 minutes,
yeah,
you know, or 15 minutes max, you know, and it's like,
yeah,
wow. I remember thinking to myself while I was in it, while like that first one, or maybe the second one, or so, I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my god, I'm going to come out of this, and I am so fucking smart, man. I know the answer
yeah.
to everything." And then you come out of it, and I'm just like,
What the fuck just
can't even
happened?
put it into words, bro. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, fucking oath,
Yeah, but
yeah,
anyway, I'll we've been on for nearly an hour and a half, bro. I'll finish up here shortly. I'll just get this last little bit.
yeah,
I'll so I fucking yeah, I got out of jail, bro, and you know, with no plan, nothing, you know, but I looked good. You know, I'd worked out. I had a lot of weight on me. I'd put on like fucking 25 kilos within like 5 months, and um, I like you know, I was looking the part. It was the confidence was through the roof, and I take that back to it. to the DMT trip too, man, that I'd had before I went in, the confidence thing, because I was confident right through jail too. I didn't give a fuck, you know, not in a violent way as such, but I mean, I didn't take shit, but I was just confident. I was happy. I was happy to talk to any kind. I was happy to help anyone. I was, you know, I made friends with some fucking blokes I'll be mates with for the rest of my life, you know, and I'm talking murderers and shit, you know, that were in there, man, that are like legends of blokes, you know, that have, you know, made a bad mistake and now paying for it for the rest of their life. But, you know, you wouldn't be a nicer fella, like, as you know, Nate, like, through jail, you know. But yeah, anyway, I got out of jail, man, and like I said, I started to hit up the CBD of a weekend again, and you know, and no, I was so anti-drug though. I was like, no, fuck that. I'm not going back to that life, you know. Not the shard, at least, like not the ice.
Yeah.
But and I'm, you know, a couple of bumps of the coke and shit here and there if I was out or whatnot, but I'm hitting on the piss and that, um and yeah, and then I remember I was she'll leave me say this and fucking and have a cringe to herself, I reckon, but I was there in this Salamanca, nice little area down along the wharf there in Hobart. A couple of nice little bars. I was still banned from all the fucking nightclubs up in the top part of town, so I'd just like drink down the waterfront. And fucking, I remember me and my cousin went out this one night, and you know, we're only around the same age, and he had a fucking real nice little Lancer, the same model as that fucking white thing that Spanian was driving. One of those real nice fucking hotted up thing, and it was parked there out the front of this fucking nightclub thing there. It was not a nightclub, sort of like a restaurant turned sort of nightclub at night sort of thing. And there's these two Sheilas fucking leaning up against his car, and we're walking towards it, and he's like, "They're fucking leaning up against my car." Like, I was like, "Hey, you know, they're all right, bro. Like, just fucking wait." Like, and I went up, so excuse me, ladies, can you just jump off his car? Like, it's, you know, this thing's worth about 40 grand. Like, and sorry, and I ended up spending the next 3 days with it, bro, and you know, and then here we are. We've got beautiful little 18-month-old daughter together. We've been together 5 years, going on 5 years. Moved from Tassie to the Gold Coast. You know, got a beautiful little apartment here, walking distance to the beach, and you know, and yeah, man, the rest is history. I mean, apart from what we spoke about at the start, I had a relapse there, and we had a bit of a breakup. You know, she obviously, man, I went fucking so hard this last time, bro, and I think too, because like I said, the Frank, the GHB or the juice, whatever you want to call it, that went hand in hand with it, bro. Like so much, like, real bad, and it turned like, man, I'll be straight up, like it turns you into a deviated fucking like you might go pull the skin off it in the first 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being honest, brother. I'm sure anyone that's tried it will say the same thing. Not to mention how it's eating your insides out too, you know. It's horrible fucking shit. But, you know, like I went from like and the same deal, man. I even here on the Gold Coast, I got in with an ugly little crew of Unky J's and ended up getting shit cheap. And then next thing I got onto fucking Alibaba.com, and which I've copped a heap of shit. I did a video the other day about this GHB shit, and people have been saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that." People know where to get it and stuff. Well, they don't sell it on there anymore. It's been banned on there. So, but Alibaba.com, bro. Tell you what, I was getting like a litre for like $130 of that GHB and selling it for $1,000 as soon as it arrived. A litre, you know, and it was like, and then the rest of the money and shit, I was just putting it up my arm, bro, and completely fucked myself. And I think what fucked me up so bad this last time was being in a new place, being here on the Gold Coast, you know, and being in the real world. It's, you know, if you're from Tassie, you can put it that way. Like, it's a fucking real deal up here, bro. Like, you know, and but yeah, it's like I ended up pulling my shit together, bro. I had a bit of a second sort of spiritual awakening, I feel, in a way. You know, I was always a bit cringe about God and things like that, man. But I proudly say but I believe in something very, very powerful above me. You know what I mean? And when I say God, I say that because that's the general terminology that people will use. But whatever it is, brother, it's something greater, and it's steering me in the right direction. It's I don't know. The more faith I have in it, the more it shows itself. You know, and like God to me, bro, is that voice inside my head that's telling me to do good. And then the
Yeah.
devil is that fucking shit man that's saying, "Oh, just one time won't hurt," or
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So that's God to me. I
Yeah.
don't see this fucking human figure in the sky or anything like that. It's all me when I say
Yeah.
God, but there's it's whatever it is. I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
working, brother. And
The
here
universe.
I am,
Yeah.
fucking the universe, 100%, bro. And
Yeah.
but it's I'm killing it, brother. When I moved into the Goldie, I started the podcast, and
Yeah.
you're a former guest there on season one,
Yeah.
and that's fucking popped off, man. That's had over a 250,000 streams across all platforms, and
Yeah, man.
YouTube it's struggled a bit. The video, I don't know why, but like Spotify and Apple and all that's fucking popped off hard on there. Like,
Yeah, man.
um, but yeah, man, I sort of what happened was I started the podcast and did that first season, and then the second season I put out for a bunch of sponsors to jump on board, and um, so I thought, get a bit of coin behind it. Maybe I can produce it a bit better and
Yeah.
promote a few businesses and get their names out there, and a couple of local Tassie businesses too, and good friends of mine. And I did that. I had all the sponsors. I'm not afraid to say, but they all paid me $500 each for 20 episodes up front.
Yeah, man.
But then
Brilliant.
fucking, I fucked them all over, bro. Well, we're going on like nearly 12 months now, and I'm only up to
Oh,
episode 12. But in between seasons, I had that relapse, you see, and
yeah.
they'd paid me all the money. I blew the money, and then I was like, fuck, and now I'm all boned out and fucking junkified, and now I've got to try and start a podcast and make it better than the first season. Like, it
Yeah.
fucking stressed me out, bro, real bad. But like I said, that whole God, if you want to call it that, man, it's that's I've just followed it and followed it, and like I said, the more faith I've had in it, the more it's revealing itself, and the better my life's becoming, bro. And yeah, and I've done it, man. And now, I'm getting some of the biggest names in Australia and that on my podcast, and
Yeah, you've got some good guests on there, eh?
yeah, bro, yeah,
His links are down in the description too, guys, for everybody. Sorry,
yeah.
my dog's trying to get out.
No, but that's pretty much me, Nate. Like I said, I'm 8 months clean now, bro. And, that was pretty much my life in a nutshell. My life within an hour and a half. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of, each topic that I've spoke about. They all branch off into stories as well. Obviously, as everybody's life
Yeah.
goes. But
It's good too, bro,
yeah,
because like your story, a lot of people they might not relate to like everybody's life's different, but there's a lot of bits in there that different people can relate to, and
definitely, bro.
you know what I mean, that they can attach to, and they can see that like people like you, people like me, and other people out there that they've turned it around, and no matter how many times you fall backwards, you find a way to move forwards.
That's right, brother. And
Yeah.
like I said, find something greater, man, to have faith in. I don't care what anyone says, bro. Like, clearly, Nathan, I don't know how you look at it, but you're obviously fucking following something, bro, because you're doing good things. Look how
Yeah.
your life turned
Yeah, I'm
out.
Buddhist. Yeah, I follow like
Yeah,
Buddhism.
that's right. That's right. I remember now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Fuck, bro, I
Yeah.
talk to so many different people and that across the
Yeah.
social
Nah.
media
No.
and shit. I'll get your stories and that. But I remember you
Yeah.
clearly now, your story, yeah. But you know what I mean? You follow something like that, brother, and look at you, bro. You've gone from a fucking in and out of jail, and you've
Yeah.
fucking whole
And you
life
let
to
you let go of that ego too, where you care about what other people think, and you know what I mean. You
definitely,
can
bro.
be
The ego's
yourself,
a huge
and
thing.
yeah, it
Definitely,
changes you
ego.
so dramatically, like to do positive things. Because in the past, like when you're trying to portray this tough guy, or like be a criminal and that, then helping people or doing good by, like, you know what I mean, just doing them good things and that are good
100%.
for you and good for your soul and a good example to your family and your loved ones and stuff. Like it's like people would see that as a weakness in that world.
Definitely, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's really a strength.
Yeah, 100%, bro. That's right.
Yeah,
And you know, another big thing, bro, and like this could possibly help a lot of people too, bro, is I come to the realization, bro, of you got to not give a fuck what people think about you,
yeah,
or you know, because
100%.
there's so much, and I see you fucking post and shit all the time, cracks me up. But the haters and shit on the internet, like
Yeah,
the negative comments and shit, man. Like once upon a time, bro, I was that cunt that, trust me, man, before you even heard from me, I would have already known who you are, where you live, what you drive. I would have fucking sorted you out, you know. Like,
yeah,
but these guys fucking fuck off, man. If you're really taking the time out of your day to fucking
yeah,
try and get under my skin, well, it just goes to show how fucking sad your life
yeah.
is. Do you know what I mean?
I get heaps of them like, oh, come meet me. I said, bro, I'm not going to meet anybody. I'm not going to jail.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I'll have a laugh at you online, but like if you're in front of me, it's a different story. My family's there, but I'm not coming to anybody. I don't care what you say.
100%. But you're a father. I'm a
Yeah,
father too. You know, it's
yeah. Like there's nothing that's gonna override my love for my daughter. For you know what I mean? To
exactly,
go
bro.
at
Yeah,
especially some random I don't even know.
yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
man, 100%. But you know, it's yeah, I like I said, man, I couldn't handle negative shit, bro. Negative comments and that. It made me fucking curl into a ball and think, oh fuck that. But yeah, I happily drop daily content. I speak my mind. I
yeah,
you know, I try and help people where I can. I give my true opinion on things,
yeah,
you know, and it seemed to start working for me, you know. My social medias are starting to grow a bit now, and like I said, the podcast is blooming, bro. I've got a bunch of fucking awesome guests lined up too, as well. Like people that are
yeah,
known. I'm not going to give away any names or anything yet because it's
yeah,
you know, fucks the surprise, I guess. But you know, some big names that haven't really told their story before,
yeah,
or you don't see much of them. You know, which is I've like, for example, AJ Graham. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. That's a
fucking
good one. Yeah,
cool, bro. I've known AJ since I was a little boy. Like,
yeah,
never in a million years did I think I'd get him on the podcast, bro. I asked him 12
yeah,
months ago, and he was like, "Nah, bro, nah. My lawyers advised me not to." And then bang, bro, he reached out to me, you know, and I was like, I felt honoured to be able to get someone like that on,
yeah.
um, and that
Well,
blew
I
up,
was
man.
surprised when I seen like it's good your Spotify, I mean Apple Music and that are going good, but when I seen your YouTube, I was like, fuck it, it's very hard with YouTube, like with some things. But I was like, fuck, I'm surprised you don't have a lot more followers with the guests and with the content you have on there
Yeah, well, I've only
because it
really
is
just
good, you know.
gotten, yeah,
But
and I've only
hopefully, a
really
few of
just
my people
gotten.
will go over there now and subscribe. Like all the links are there, and
Thank you, brother.
click
And you
it,
know what?
share
You
it.
help boost it there. You
Yeah.
help boost it there when you drop that shito. And I thank you for that, bro. When you drop that shit after AJ's podcast, you know, I think
Oh
I've
yeah.
gained another 500, 600 subscribers just off you there, you know.
Yeah,
So,
man.
um, I got just before that, I only just monetized YouTube. So, you know, I'm only slowly starting to see an income come in off
Yeah.
YouTube now, which is good. But like you said, bro, the amount of, you know, valuable, good podcasts that I've done, and the quality of the guests, it should be going way better. But
Yeah.
it is what it is, bro.
Definitely.
They're there for
Yeah.
people to see. They'll be there forever. Like,
Yeah. The good thing with YouTube is it's not like TikTok and that, but like if you get a mad video and it blows up, then it starts recommending all your old ones, and they can blow up in 2 years,
I've
or
noticed.
you know what I mean. So
I've
it is good
noticed,
to
bro.
have them there. Yeah.
100%. Nah, awesome, brother. That's yeah, that's pretty much me, bro. I like, yeah, as I said, I'm going on 8 months sober, clean now, man, and
No, that's
I feel like that last relapse was my last learning curve that I needed, bro, before I fucking really wipe my hands. You know, I'm about to turn 33, man, and I'm done with that life, bro. I don't ever want
yeah,
to go
no.
back to jail. I only did a short stint in jail, bro, and it changed me life for the better, I think, you know.
Oh, that's
Like I never did
awesome,
it
bro.
hard, but it
Yeah.
taught me a lesson, you know. It's like, that's a
Yeah.
dirty, scummy fucking hole to
It's
live
better
in.
to learn on day one than day 1,000 or 10,000 or you know.
Exactly, brother.
Yeah. Makes you a
You
lot
know, and
smarter
like
than
I said,
most
man,
of
it's a
us.
dirty, scummy place to live, man. Nobody wants to live there for the rest of their life. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Like,
No, well, this was a good one. Usually, I jump in. Like people would talk a little bit, but
I'll just take the lead.
you
Sorry, bro.
no, you got a good flow, bro. I liked it because where I usually lead is the way you let it. I'll jump
Yeah.
from like, your younger life
Oh,
into
bro, it's
school,
the
into
podcasts that
addiction,
coming
into
out in me,
crime,
you
but
know? Like,
yeah. See, the route. But
yeah.
I got a question here from Anonymous, which just answered that one for me too. But when you have guests on, bro, especially important big time guests, do you pre-plan a series of questions, or do you just run off the cusp without any scripts or planned questions?
Are they asking you that or me?
Oh, you. So like, do you
Yeah,
plan
so
your questions, or
good
sometimes I'll
question, bro.
write some
So
topics
if you go
to make
back and
sure I don't
watch,
miss anything. But yeah, I
no,
like
well,
to
if
let
you
it
go back
flow.
and watch the first ever podcast I did with he's a super lightweight pro boxer, Bo the Goods Woods, good friend of mine. He actually was raised in that suburb Rokeby where I got chased by the cops and hid under that fucking.
Oh yeah.
But he's here on the Gold Coast, He trains with Jai Pattaya. Jai
Oh,
Pattaya's old man. He's his coach,
yeah.
Yeah, but so I did the first ever episode with him, and it was like, fuck it. I hired out a studio out here in Burley, and it was like, fuck it. Let's have a crack. But I did. I wrote everything down, and I had I'm reading off a bit of paper, bro. It looks so fucking amateur, like, you know what I mean. And I think the first couple, I think the next one I might have had like a laptop behind the camera, so it looked
Oh
like
yeah.
I was still reading, but you learn along the way. And honestly, brother,
Yeah.
I ended up getting comfortable enough to be able to, like, I would never read off paper, or I have a bit of a rough idea. Obviously, I talk to the guests before they come on, and I get them to give me a rough outline on their story, so I can
Yeah.
vaguely structure it in my head. But just
Yeah.
like this podcast, bro, I feel that it flows way better if you just let
Yeah.
it go, on its
Let it
own
be
and
raw and natural, and
raw, bro. Yeah, and that's
yeah.
that's what my podcast is known for too. The raw authenticity of it, like, um, yeah, yeah. So that's that question
Yeah.
answered. No, I don't really structure. I kind of structure it in my head, but I usually
Yeah.
have spoken to the guest a little bit before the podcast, so I sort of get a bit of an idea of what direction it's going to go.
Yeah, yeah, same, yeah. I did the same
Yeah,
thing at the start. I wrote down a heap of questions, and then I was just like, "Fuck!" As soon as they'd
yeah,
stop, my head would go to the questions instead of like to keep going with what they're talking about, and
yeah.
there'd be like these awkward
You learn,
pauses and
eh?
shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't know
yeah.
where it's
See,
gonna
like,
go, so just let it go.
I think your episode, bro, on my podcast was like, by that time I just started just going raw,
Yeah,
and watch that, man. I think that's a great podcast. Ours, like, yeah, one of the better ones I've seen you on anyway. Like the way you tell your story through mine, it was excellent. I thought.
yeah, no, awesome. Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
No, sweet guys. Well, thanks heaps for coming on, Tonksy.
thank
Well,
you, brother. I appreciate it
hopefully we
heaps.
can get you back on in a few months or down the track, and see what else you're doing. And hope everyone go subscribe to Tonksy. All these links are in the description of this video. Share his videos if you can. You can share them on stories and onto your page and stuff. They're very much appreciated. If we all support each other, we all grow together.
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate you helping me with my channel too, Paddo. It's
Nah, nah,
yeah,
of
it
course,
doesn't go
brother.
unnoticed, brother.
Yeah, better to grow together than to ride solo.
100%, bro. Let me know if you're up these ways at all anytime, bro, or vice versa. If I'm down that way,
Yeah,
we'll catch up and fucking do some videos or
yeah,
something, eh?
sweet. I might be coming up. I got there's a NRL, like ex NRL player I'm doing some paintings for, so I might be
Oh,
going to his up there. Yeah, I don't want to
yeah,
say his name on
we'll
here,
catch
but
up and go for a walk along the
yeah,
beach and do some content or something, brother, for sure.
yeah, man, fucking oath. Well, much love, Tonksy, and good
Much
on you,
love, brother.
brother. You're an inspiration.
Thank you, bro. Peace. Thanks, guys.
Cowabunga. All right, you can go now.